Hi everybody, it's Agnes and I would like you to say hello to Kim Velez. Hello Kim.
Hi.
Kim, let people know where you are on the map. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in South Florida in the US.
South Florida. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think it's
Yes.
probably a tad warmer than London at the moment.
Maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit. We have been talking behind the scenes for about 20 minutes about the mechanics of certain things. The thing that has sparked us doing this together today has been your video that you did. Can you mention the name of it again?
Yes. I think it was, look, I already forgot. I cannot remember this stuff. Breakthrough for manifesting your SP.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that today for the viewers because you and I are working with people a lot. You have a Facebook group, which we will put the link down to in the description, where you are hearing a lot of the same kind of things. And I too, in private coaching, through emails, we are getting information about what people are repeatedly getting stuck on. So in the light of that, do you want to just go through a little bit of the mechanics of what was in that YouTube? Because we're going to start there.
Yes. So the highlights were in the video, I talked about that when we're manifesting anything that we want, it is all the same process. There is no different way to manifest a car. There's no different way to manifest a house. There's not a different way to manifest. So there's no difference manifesting the car or the house or the specific person. And what, you and I were talking about in the video addresses that when people are manifesting their ex or a specific person, they're changing the whole process of manifesting, and they're being taught, or they're choosing to heavily focus on what the specific person is thinking and feeling about them, rather than them changing the feeling of how they feel about themselves.
Yeah. And
so I talked about how when you're manifesting the car and the house, that we're not worried about, what is the house thinking about me? And does the house love me? And does the car want me? That has nothing to do with the manifesting process. So then why are people doing that when it comes to a specific person?
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you.
Because that tends to be, go ahead.
No, you keep going. Keep going.
Oh, I was just going to say, because that tends to be the dominant way that people are going, like, oh, I want him to love me and I want him to miss me. And is he thinking about me? And he's calling me and he's doing this.
Yeah.
And there isn't anything wrong with that, except that should be like 5% of maybe what you're thinking about. And it should be more about how are you feeling about you, so you're in alignment with what you want, which is what Neville talks about a million times over, living in the wish fulfilled.
Yeah. And the wish fulfilled is that you feel loved and wanted and secure. And you've got to stop thinking that that person is going to give it to you so you feel better. You've got to feel loved and secure and wanted through affirmations, meditation, scripting. There's lots of different ways you can do it on a daily basis. But you've got to be looking at giving that to a relationship rather than trying to get that from the other person, I think.
Yes, yes. And if you can't give it to yourself, like this is what people don't understand, like exactly what you just said. They're trying to get that from the person, but why aren't you giving it to yourself first and foremost? Because the connection with us is what's the most important, because that is everything is attracted and drawn in or whatever, manifested through that energetic connection that you have with yourself.
Yeah. You're talking to the converted.
I know you are, girl. Well, because we know this to be true. Because we live it.
Yeah.
We've lived the old way that didn't work out well, and now we live the better way that works out very well.
Yeah. Kim, I got to tell you something, and I thought I'll wait till we get on video to tell you this. you know, because people come and they say, you know, I've been working with this person, working with that person. And I go, that's good. But I said, look, and I've always said, if you want to manifest a specific person, you got to go to someone that's got one and living in it. And I have to say, you are the exception to that for me. Why? I never thought I would change my point of view about this. And what changed my point of view is you coming out of a relationship, that conversation that we had, and you being happy, and you were doing your self-love, and you weren't in this pile of mess, brokenhearted and shattered. Right. And you converted me on that. I think somebody that is going through a broken heart would benefit from learning you can come out of a breakup and have yourself on board and still be open to a relationship, but you have, it's like you've collapsed space and time between you and that total long road of suffering because of how you think and how good your self-love is. So I wanted to tell you that. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Because you know what? And when I looked at, like, I've attracted specific persons back so many times in my life, like all the time. That's why I'm very comfortable going on and talking about it, because I have done it so much. But I agree with you. Like, I think it's really important because it isn't about them. And see, my mind, and it used to not be this way, but my mind is always focused on abundance, because I know I am never lacking. And the more, it's the meaning we attach to things. And so why would I want to stay in a story that is not accurate and true to make me feel like shit? I don't need that in my life. I don't want it. It's not going to manifest what I want staying like that. Yeah.
But it's so great
look at that. You changed your mind, girl.
I never, ever thought I'd change my position on that. Because I've always said, why, you know, if you want somebody, if you want a specific person, I read Neville. So Neville at the time was going against pretty much everybody, because everybody else was saying at the time, no, you can't manifest a specific person. You need to pray for the divine design or the best person for you, hand it over to God or source or whatever, whomever you believe in, and you need to let go and allow. Now, Neville kind of stepped out of that, and he said, I've got a specific person. I want to manifest her. And then he married her. And I remember reading that going, wow, I never even heard of that. So he was the only one at the time.
Right.
And still to this day, many of the authors, and, you know, whether it's Abraham Hicks or Wayne Dyer, or there's lots of people that have their version of whether you should or shouldn't go for a specific person. So I remember thinking, okay, if you're going to be coached by somebody, it makes sense to go to somebody who's got and is living with what you want. But I honestly thought I would never change my position on that. But hearing you in that interview with me, and we chatted about where you were at after the breakup and how I could see the love and the happiness and the joy in you. And you weren't even, you were what, a month out of a relationship at the time?
Yeah.
So it's not the breakup that crushes you. It's what you do, how you interpret it, and the fact that you think they took off, they're gone, and they took the love with them. It is not a pair of suitcases they walk off with. It's not. It's you. And you actually showed that 1 month, 30 days later. And I think that was...
And I still am. And now we're 2.5 months, 2 months. I don't even count.
It doesn't matter.
Guess what? I still hear from him.
That's great. I'm not surprised, because you don't need him.
No, I don't need him. I don't need anyone. And I just did a video too yesterday about when a viewer's question about feeling lonely, because I think it kind of really ties into all of this, is that I don't feel lonely. I can be in my house for 3 or 4 days and barely talk to anyone, because I love myself so much, and I love the stories that I come up with, and I have such an engaging life that it's like I find something to do that brings me joy and pleasure. And I don't need, I mean, I like to have company. I like to have people in my life. I know I can contact friends and I could go out if I want to, but like, I don't ever feel lonely. And I
No.
used to feel lonely all the time, all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But it's what you do in here that matters, because if when we're lonely, we don't feel connected to ourselves, and we're
Yep.
seeking a connection outside of us to
Yep.
make us not feel lonely. But they keep missing the point that it's all within.
Yeah. You're like my bookend.
I agree. I know, you're my soul sister. I totally agree, girl.
I know,
I
isn't it
knew we would
great?
connect. I'm like,
Yeah, it's good.
yes,
It's
yes,
so great not feeling lonely, because I don't suffer from that either, and I know a lot of people do, and it's tough. And I used to years ago,
yes,
like you, but yeah, 3 or 4 days in the house in your pajamas doing work and having, cups of tea or coffee and watching movies and working with people or whatever. It's such a pleasure.
it is such a pleasure. It's
Yeah,
so fun.
it
Love
is.
it.
It is. So I think I do think you have to lay the foundation correctly. And I know we talk about self-love to the point where people just go, yeah, but what else have I got to do? But that is what you got to do. That is it.
Right.
You got to
Yes.
you got to first learn to control your mind, and you got to then learn to have good beliefs about relationships, men, women, yourself, before any of those. And
Yes.
you've got to be putting that into practice with how you move through your day. And
Yes.
then you've got something to offer somebody, because you're not seeking security from them, love from them. And not saying that it's not nice to receive it, but it's not, I have to get it from you because I'm feeling so not loved. You can do it from a place
Yes.
of, I'm feeling loved and I'm stepping into a relationship with this, and I'm going to offer that to you. I don't need you for security, financial, emotional. If you give it, great, thank you. But I've got it sorted pretty well 90% of the time. And that's such a great
Yes.
thing to give to a partner, I think. Such a great thing.
Oh, it's beautiful, because it radiates out of us. And
Mm,
it's like, it's how do you, I've been around people, and because we work with so many different people, like the energy is so tangible.
yeah.
And I really like am conscious and aware of who I surround myself with, because I'm very
Yeah.
sensitive to energy, and I don't like that low energy. I don't do the gossiping. I don't do
Yeah.
like people who stay stuck in their problems. I mean, I help people like that professionally, but friends wise, I
Yeah.
just can't be around it.
Yes.
And so if you're like that, and listen, I've been that woman. This is why, like, and I know you don't, but we don't judge, we understand what
Yeah.
it's like to be in that state, but we also know what it's like to do the work and come out on the other side.
Yes.
And you just got to get over the hump and do the work on yourself. And if you can't do that, then that means you don't love yourself, and
Yeah.
you're not going to ever be a priority in someone's life or feel valued, because you're not making yourself the priority in your own life.
Yeah.
And people, in my experience, and you tell me if you've had this too, people are like waiting for someone to come in and make their life exciting, or make
Yes.
their life feel like it's special or something. And you're not happy when you do that, right?
Yep. You've got to make it fun for you, irregardless of who's around. And there's so many easy ways to do that, whether it's music or, I was with my brother last week because we were at that funeral, as I told you. And he was saying, oh, have you seen this cartoon? I mean, he's 46. I said, no. He said, you got to watch this cartoon series on Netflix. So I haven't looked at it yet, but these are the types of weird and wacky and silly things you can do. You don't have to be 6 years old to watch cartoons. So it's those things, or one of my favorites is Despicable Me. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Or just go out and do whatever, go wandering around with no plan of where you're going to go, and just go and explore somewhere and make your life a fun adventure. You can do that for yourself for no reason.
Yes.
It can
Yes.
be like that. Where's that joy of exploring and going and doing, instead of doing the routine over and over? Let me just head down the road. Let me catch a random bus. Let me go and eat somewhere in some area that I don't normally eat in, where they have fantastic Turkish food, or whatever, Bulgarian food that you never had. Go and wander, go and taste, go and, you know, and you think these are the kind of things that kind of get you out of your, I need to get that car, I need to get that relationship, I need to get that dream job, because we all want those things and there's nothing wrong with wanting it, but you got to pull away and inject some fresh oxygen into your system to come back and then look at things with fresh eyes. And I think that does you the world of good, to pull away from it totally on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the things that came up recently when I was helping with the women in my Facebook is, you know, I was going on this tangent. Like, they were like, what do you do when you're feeling lonely or bored? I'm like, well, I don't feel lonely, but when I want to, you know, have my mind on something, like, I consume a lot of YouTube. I go and I find people that inspire me and can teach me something, right, to feed my soul and my mind. I do this, like, I love to take my phone and I'll go on Pinterest and I'll look at things that I want to buy, right, like different outfits and things that bring me joy, luxury items, or just, I don't know, an outfit, just some animals, like stuff that just brings me joy. I do things in, you know, I'll write out my affirmations, I journal, I script, because it's fun. I love to live in my mind, because I know I'm creating my reality with what I'm focusing on. So I get excited and I just go on a vacation in my mind.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I sit there and then I look and I tell people, I'm like, you know, if you don't have a job that you love, like, I get that. I've been there too in my life, you know, and we can understand that pain, but it's like, all right, so when you're home and you have like 4 or 5 hours of nothing to do, then what are you doing? What are you, like you said, go explore online too, if you don't want to leave your house, but start looking at passions or things that excite you, and just start, you know, putting that energy out there and focusing on what you want, because it'll start coming more and more to you. But to just lay on the couch and do nothing and be upset all day isn't going to get you the life that you want, you know?
No, because you've got to be solution focused, or solution researching, exploring, moving towards, rather than, you know, just like you say, watching some crime at night. You know, I still love crime shows, but I try and wean myself off, because I don't want that in my head before I go to bed. And go and do a podcast or something, you know, like, just get, like you say, we've got access to all this stuff, podcasts and YouTube and Pinterest and all these things that can give you a lot of visual images or a lot of audio information for free.
Yes. It's so easy to find out something and learn something and check something out. But it, you know, I do know this too, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is all this stuff takes effort, you know, and it takes like you doing something different and refocusing your priorities in your life. And most people are so fixated, like you said, on, I want this car so bad, and I want this, you know, person in my life, and I want this house. And they're just missing the point that the manifestation is the icing on the cake. You know, it's not the end all be all. The manifestation comes in, you still want more, whether more with them or more with something else, you know, or this is human nature. So it's like you said, you have to lay that foundation. And, you know, I tell, it's a mindset shift to be like, I am love, I'm the prize, I'm valuable, I'm the one, like, you know, that is the hotness when they walk out the front door, like whatever makes you feel confident and secure, you know?
Yeah, that's right. I'm the hotness. That's the new one.
I can't hear you. I think I lost the sound is wait, talk again?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Okay, sorry.
I'm going to add that to my list. I am the hotness.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, because see, look, I love that because this is what I do. I tell my people all the time, I have the funniest things on my affirmations because that is the best thing is when you're like stepping into embodying that energy, like you're cracking up. Like I love to laugh. So I'm always saying things that I'm like, this is so ridiculous if anyone heard me say this out loud. You know?
Well, there'll be 40,000 people on my channel that'll hear I am the hotness from your affirmations list.
Hey, whatever works, right?
I love it. I love it. I do love those random things that pop into your head when you're writing affirmations. It's great.
Yes.
Great. Oh, wonderful. I think, yeah, it's just that journey. Look, I think a specific person is one of our greatest teachers of all time because they show us every crack, every wrinkle, every weak link we have about ourselves. And if you can rise up to the challenge and go, wow, okay, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling jealous, I'm feeling resentment, whatever it is, if you take yourself aside and go, okay, that's what I'm feeling. I'm going to be honest with myself and I'm going to work on that. And I'm not going to look at what they're doing. I'm just going to look at if that's in front of me, what have I got going on that I need to kind of clean up, deal with, because they're my mirror. They're showing me things about me that are not very, and the more you do that, your relationships just get easier. I mean, it used to be so hard for me in my 20s and 30s. And as I got into my 40s, mid 40s, and then hit 50, it's just got easier to get back to the point where you go, okay, hang on, what have I been doing the last few days that I've got this? I don't want this. And you just sit down, you kind of check out, oh yeah, I'm in judgment, I'm in resentment, I'm standing here again with my hands on my hips going, look at them. And there you go.
Right.
And you just go, okay, let's work on, I'm tired, I need more sleep, or I really need to go out in nature and run around and just be outside. I've been cooped up, I need to get out, or whatever. What do you need? What do you need? And you just deal with it. And then you go, okay, now I need to correct this because I've been negative for a few days or whatever. And you just, you know, you're in and out of, as Abraham says, she calls it the vortex. Neville calls it changing states, whatever words you want to use. You're going from not feeling great to feeling better. That's it. So.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And it's, I think too, do you think, like I've noticed with people, they really struggle with when there's person comes back in their life that they kind of just lose their power again by taking the focus off of themselves and they put it back on the person because now they're going outside of them to get that constant reassurance again. And then that's usually when it falls apart. Because I know that would be my pattern. Like, and that's when I would have to adjust, like, oh, what am I doing? Oh, I'm focusing too much on them, or maybe what they're not doing, exactly what you said. And then I start feeling like shit because of what I'm saying to myself. And then I can see the distance or space being created in the connection because I'm creating, you know, it widening that way. But I think that's so important that people really need to understand is when you're back with that, whether you're with them or not, you have to making you the priority of your life, not them the priority of your life.
And that might mean, I mean, I know there's sometimes where I'm not feeling great and my partner's at home and I just say to him, look, I just got to go and listen to a meditation. I'll go lay on the bed with the headphones on and you just communicate. I need to go and do this for me because I'm too wound up. I've got work stuff in my head. I need to unplug. I can feel myself getting, you know, in the neck. My eyes are tired. I'm starting to get cranky. I need to pull the plug and I need to go and do that. Or I need to get out of here. I need to go for a walk because I'm on the computer a lot with work. So I just go, hey, I need to get outside. Doesn't matter if it's raining, summer, winter, you take an umbrella, whatever, you just go and get some fresh air and you walk around outside for an hour or two and you do what you need to do. And then you come back in and when you see your partner, it's like, hey, you know, and you have a meal or you have a conversation because you're not looking to them going, oh, they're not doing enough for me. I don't feel good. It's their job. You know, you don't put it on them.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
need
used
you to make me feel better. I'm in a mood, but you got to make me feel better.
I know, God. So you look back and you think, boy, some people are patient. You know, when you look back at the relationships you've been in or who you're with, and you think, boy, when I used to do that, that was so not cool.
You know what? And listen, I agree too. When I look back at my past, I'm like, oh my goodness, you know?
Yeah.
But I look at it and I'm like, wow, like it makes so much sense because I needed that reassurance. So I was forcing the timeline and I needed the reassurance for them to prove to me or show me that I mattered, show me that I'm loved, because I didn't understand that I needed to do that for myself. So you were going to glob onto someone and try to extract that as much as possible and stay in really unhealthy, toxic shit because we're terrified that if I leave this, I'm not going to feel this. And it's such a lack mindset. And it's just retraining the mind to focus on what you want and trust and know that it's out there, because it is. I'm like, I have a very vulgar saying. I won't say it here. I'll tell you off camera. I make the ladies laugh in my group, but I'll share with you another time. But I mean, you know, things are a dime a dozen in life, you know, and they're always out there. So it's whether it's a car or a person, and we just have to stop overvaluing everything and start valuing ourselves, and then it all comes in.
Yeah. I love your glob on. I'm still stuck on that one.
Girl,
I had a visual of that.
I make up that, you know what it is? I'm not an articulate speaker, and I'm okay with that because I have so much that runs through my brain. Like my mouth cannot keep up. So whatever comes out, comes out.
Glob on. That's fabulous. Love it.
Glob on. Yes. Like, suffocating person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny you mentioned that thing about you have to prove to me, because I do hear that in emails where people say, oh, I want him to prove to me, or I want her to prove to me that, or I want him to fight for me, or I want her to fight. It's like, they don't have to do that. They are just doing their lives because they're not here on the planet just for you. You have to prove it to yourself. You've got to say, I am of value. I am a priority to myself. Once you get that, you will be. You are that which you proclaim yourself to be. And when I say proclaim, I don't mean in a religious, verbal way. I'm talking about what you feel in the marrow of your bones. And that's what you got to work on.
Yes, girl. Yes. It's true. I'm like, woohoo! You know what? I love doing this because I listen to your stuff because I need positive stuff to remind me to, and I don't like to hear myself talk because I talk enough, you know, so I need other people that I can listen to. So it's so refreshing because it's, you know, we speak the same language, and the way you word things too is new for me, and your understanding is fresh for me. So it's just, you know, it's an alignment, but it's true. It's like they keep going outside of themselves. And the answer is always within. And that's the whole spiritual journey, is understanding the power that's within us, and that everything we seek, we already have within us. And that's the golden ticket. And I mean, Neville talks about that all the time. And he talks about that, you know, I'm going to say it in my words and not his, because they spoke very weird back then. But, you know, it was, you know, we manifest what we are, not what we want. And people miss that. People miss that so much, right?
That's so true. That is so true. It's not what you say you believe. It's not what you think you believe. It's what you really believe in the quietness of 3 a.m. when you get up to go to the toilet in the night and you lay back down in bed and your eyes are still open. What are you thinking at that moment when there's no one around in the dead of night? That's what you really believe in those moments.
Yes. And that's why I love The Feeling Is the Secret from him, that book. So good. It's so good.
It is.
And it's like, that's the key right there. It's the state of being energetically. Who are you being in this moment? And I tell people, like, you just have to practice being the energetic version of you living in the end, or you living in your wish fulfilled, right? How you would feel if you have what you want. And before you know it, you actually transition into that person, and your 3D world has to rearrange to that energy, and things shift and unfold, and you create what you want. But it has to come from you. It's not coming out there and then coming to me. It's coming from within, out, and then back.
Yeah, correct. And that's why I find there's always this fascination with law of attraction. And that's fine. But there's 2 laws that happen before that. The law of assumption, what you assume, the law of projection, what you send out with what you assume. And then the law of attraction photocopies and brings it back. So the law of attraction really isn't the bright, shiny object of all the laws. It is only one little law that's part of the piece of the puzzle of many other laws. And I think we forget that what we project and what we assume is first.
Yes,
Then
I love the way you said that.
Yeah, brings forth the photocopy. It's not the law of attraction first at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it makes sense. Like when you look at what you assume to be true is a belief, which is going to produce feelings and emotions and your energy.
Yeah.
So if you believe that you're loved, if you believe that you're valued, if you assume that you are loved, if you assume you're valued, if you assume you're a priority, then you're in that energy. You're connecting to a feeling that produces the energy. Then your experiences and people around you will, like you said, photocopy that back to you. So you have more experiences where you are feeling that same energy that you are projecting out. So yeah, no, you said that beautifully. I love that, because it's true. It's like, law of attraction is like when it comes back in, we're attracting what we are, but how do you become what you are?
Exactly.
I don't even know if that made sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and you've got to, the universe is the big photocopier. You got to actually have something to copy first. The copy is what you are doing mentally.
Yes.
And into your body creates an emotion. The emotion and the thoughts go out. Then it's ka-chung, photocopy back in. So yeah, it's like, but it does take time to one, understand this with your head, and then 2, go to deeper levels of applying it on the subjects that you feel you are not comfortable in, whether it's money, job, whatever, a relationship, an ex, your weight, your health, whatever. You've got to work out, what am I assuming? What am I projecting out? And how do I get a better photocopy? So that I'm much more, but you got to capture the feelings first. Got to capture the relax. See, if you had the money, if you had the specific person, if you had the amazing house, if you had the travel you wanted, you would be relaxed and looking forward to those things or enjoying them currently. So you wouldn't be in this dissatisfaction that I see a lot of people in. I think the dissatisfaction is one of the biggest handbrakes of all time. Constant dissatisfaction with,
Well, because it's lack. You're just focusing on it's not happening. And it's so funny because people, you probably get this too, where people think like once they get this and they start practicing it and they see the benefits of it, then they're like, well, I had a negative thought and I can't do that. I'm so mad at myself. And I'm like, we're human. Like we're going to have a negative thought. Sorry, my kitty wants to
I could just see the tap. I was wondering what.
Oh my God. I know. It's like they always have to make an appearance when I'm talking. They're like kids.
Don't want to miss out. Don't want to miss out.
I don't have the tail. It's this little girl. Like, what's wrong with Kim? What's going out of her face right there?
That's cute. They pick up everything. They pick up everything.
Yeah, they do. They're so funny. But and I'm like, we're going to have a negative thought. Like I have negative thoughts. It was so funny because this morning, because I don't know, well, you probably don't know, but I'm selling my house. So I just listed on the market. So the houses sell really fast in my neighborhood. So I'm really excited about it. And then I got information that my neighbor now wants to put his house on the market too. So I first went to a place of lack where I was like, oh my God, Is he gonna mess things up for me? And then I was like, hold on, no, and I had to shift my mindset and refocus it, because my ego picked up quickly, this could be a potential problem. And then your ego wants to focus on it so it can come up with a solution. But I'm like, that's not a state of abundance. Energetically, that's not what I want. So I had to redirect and shift, because the thought crept up like 4 or 5 times this morning. And I go, that's not in alignment with what I want for myself. So I just keep redirecting until eventually I don't go to that negative thought anymore, which it's not even an issue for me the rest of the day. So it's people have to understand that you're going to have a negative thought. That's okay. Just don't dwell on it. Don't feed it. Don't give it energy, and shift it to what is actually in alignment with what you want to believe and put out there about you.
Exactly. And every situation in life, the sale of a house, or, you know, a relationship breakup, or a new job, or whatever, it gives you the opportunity to practice this stuff on. You got to have a bouncing board to practice it on.
Yes.
So it's this, you get better at doing that very thing you're talking about with the thoughts through practice, not through just someone telling you and you go, oh, yeah, I understand that. It takes effort, as you said.
A lot.
Effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is the thing though, this is how you love yourself, right? It's like, this doesn't feel good. Do I need to think this? Because this is where we have free will, that we get to choose what we think. I don't believe any other species on the planet has that power that we do. I think the human race, as far as I know, you know, the human race is the only one who can choose what they want to think and what they feel.
Yeah.
So we have that power that we can say, oh, I don't have to buy into this scenario, because I do this, anything in my life, I just say this, like, one, I don't like the way it makes me feel. So it's not true, because I do believe that you're, like Abraham Hicks talks about, that your emotional guidance system letting you know you're out of whack with your soul. Your soul doesn't agree with that, which is why it doesn't feel good. And then I say, is this in alignment with what I want for myself? No. Okay, so what do I want? Oh, you know what? Things are going to work in my favor with this house. I'm letting it go. It'll sell when it's supposed to sell, because I have to find another place to live too. So there's a lot of things that have to go into motion to line up for me to get the best result. I'm taking my hands out of that pot and trusting that it'll come to be whatever way, whether he sells his house before me or not. I don't care, because I'm going to get the best favorable result.
Yeah, nice.
So you just have to shift.
There's also
trust.
Yes, but there's also that thing of, if someone comes to see his house and they see yours is for sale next door, and they go, I really love this street, but I don't really like his house. He could assist you to sell his house, and you could be assisting him as well. So it could be a nice duo.
Yes.
That, you know, you never know who will come into his house, and that person might like yours better. So it could be an asset rather than a deficit.
Yes, see, but that's beautiful the way you did that, because it's just shifting the perspective and focusing on a positive outcome and trusting. And you and I, with our egos, we only come up with a handful of ways to work out, where our highest version, the source, can see all the ways it'll work out for us that we can't even imagine.
Exactly.
Right? And that's why I just don't dwell in this shit, because I'm like, my house will sell. I'm going to move where I want to move, and it's going to work out. Right? Why am I going to stress about something that just does not make sense to stress about? There's no reason for me to stress.
Yeah. And that's how you work your way around.
It's rinse and repeat
Yeah,
all the time.
All the time.
Every day, right? Do you have to check your mind? I do it every day.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many, you know, doesn't matter where you live, what you're doing for work, what relationship you're in or not, your kids, your grandparents, your health, your weight, there's always something outside where you can actually practice it on. There's always something there. And that's how you get better at it. You get better at it through doing it. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Meditation.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, meditation saves your life. Saves your life.
It does. It does.
So good.
Well, and and that's the thing too, is that this is what I tell people, because I get a lot of this feedback as a therapist. I got it as well as coaching is, well, it takes a lot of effort and it's exhausting for me to practice. I feel like I'm fighting my mind. And
Yeah.
so I help them with, well, you're not fighting it. It feels like it because you're trying to overwrite something that you weren't doing before. But I said sometimes, the story, maybe that's not the right story for you to say to yourself at that time if it feels a lot of resistance. So find a different thought. Like Abraham talks about this all the time. Like,
Yep.
find a different thought, even if it's just, you know what, I don't have to worry about this right now because there's nothing I can do and I'm going to trust. I don't have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Find something, keep reaching for a new thought until you feel some kind of relief. And
Yep.
it's as simple as that. But it is exhausting in the beginning,
It
I
is.
believe, because right? Like when you're first doing this, because it's like anything, you have to be consciously aware a lot of, I have to change this thought. This isn't accurate. I need to replace it. But the more you do it, that becomes your new way of just thinking more automatically. So it gets easier.
It does. And you do get less exhausted because your mind's not fighting the new thoughts as much over time. So I agree. It is tiring in the beginning. That's why I personally don't recommend people do this work 7 days a week. I think 4 or 5 is enough and you stay consistent. 7 days a week, you burn out after about 2 months. You just burn out, you crash and burn and you go, this stuff doesn't work. I'm tired. And you can't manifest and you can't attract things when you're exhausted. It doesn't work because it's a negative magnet.
And it's harder.
Yeah.
And when I'm exhausted, like I have more negative thinking.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I feel like my defenses are down or something, but I'm just so like, and then it's like, I feel like my negative thinking kicks in harder. So I have to, do it more. So it's so important to take care of yourself so that your mind is like sharp, I guess, and you have the energy. It's just amazing. It's amazing, like holistically, what we go through to be the new version of what we want, but it's so worth it.
It's so worth it. I agree. Thank you, Kim. That was good little Kim nuggets today. Not Neville nuggets, Kim nuggets. It's a good, I love nutting this out because, you and I do a lot of work on our own. So it's nice to just get together and, just break things down and nut it out in a conversation. I always love that. That's a fun bit of this stuff. I will be putting down below all the bits to your website, channel, and Facebook group for people that didn't see and also the other interviews that you and I have done together with the other people and you and me together. I'll put that down below. So do you want to say goodbye to people?
Yes. Bye, guys. It was so good talking to you.
Bye, everybody. You'll see us both, you know where and you know when.